Hi, y'all. It's been almost a month since I last uploaded a video on this channel. I had no real time. I now work two jobs for 2 months until I can leave one job and completely focus my shit on the other one. So I work like 3 times a day, and that's also on a Sunday, the day where I normally go to my grandma and grandpa to upload videos. But because I'm working on that day, I can't. So that's why I haven't been uploading for a lot, because I don't have time anymore. At least I don't have as much time as I used to have a month ago. But let's just get into video. I hope y'all forgive me. Obviously, I don't give a shit if you don't, because I have my reasons. I literally can't do anything about it. But let's just react to this video. 5 most disturbing Reddit threads. Let's get into it, y'all. I hope y'all had a great month. I'm gonna just start the video.
$700,000.
Alright,
On November
for what?
6, 2015, a Reddit user named Bangarang made a deeply concerning and odd post on the site reading, "Need $700,000. What do? I need it by January 2016 or I'm dead from the mob. What are my options though?"
Damn.
Now, if this was posted in subreddits like
Sad? What is Sad Boys? Is that like a... wait. That's like a music genre or something, right?
r/advice or r/help me, people would have taken it more seriously.
Yes.
However, for whatever reason, Bangarang decided to post this plea for help in r/sadboys. This is a subreddit for the fans of the Sad Boys music collective that emerged in the early 2010s, primarily associated with...
Alright, y'all, I don't really care anymore, man. I want to watch something that I have not watched. I'm done acting like I haven't watched a video yet. That Scared Asia? YouTube's darkest channels. Nick Crowley. I like his shit. Let's watch it.
Tell you what we're gonna do today more than anything else. We're gonna do this. Nice guy must die. Nice
Alright.
guy must die.
Oh. Why does he look familiar? I already watched this video too. Fuck. Oh no, what have I not watched? I watched that one. Wait a minute, hold on, man. Let's watch a short one because I have like almost no time anymore left. Darkest moments in TV history. Most disturbing mystery TikTok. Bro, I can't even watch this. You know what? Let's where is it? Let's watch this one. I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't find a video that I haven't watched yet. I'm sorry.
She feels like a real baby. That's 'cause
Hell
she
no.
has tiny bones inside.
Useless. Why would you want that in your doll?
February 2022, an urban explorer makes his way down a long-forgotten dirt road somewhere in rural China. His ultimate destination was a dilapidated structure shrouded in mystery for both him and all others in the region, with many referring to it simply as a laboratory. But what kind of laboratory was completely unknown. This did little to deter the man. In fact, the mystique of this building made the location even more tantalizing, as it would make for the...
That's pretty weird. Like, I understand urban exploring and all that, but I think the last thing you want to explore is an abandoned lab, or at least, like, seen as a lab. I mean, all types of chemicals are in there, rotting, probably. Or they just put everything out, I don't know. They cleaned the place, I don't know. I mean, it's abandoned for a reason, right? So, probably all the stuff is still there. It's just basically poison everywhere you walk, I think. Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know, man. I'm tired.
Perfect setting for a video on his TikTok page, perhaps the one that would finally thrust him into the public eye. And as he walked down that old dirt road, he believed that each step was taking him closer and closer to uncovering that building's original purpose. But what he'd find in that old laboratory wouldn't be answers. In fact, he would be left with far more questions, as the video he would go on to post would leave hundreds of thousands of people horrified, disturbed, and in many cases, scarred for life.
This is something completely other than what he's saying right now that I'm gonna be commenting on, but that's why I probably won't do a lot of urban exploring in my life. I want to do it. It sounds fun, but like anything could be in there. You know, animals, dangerous animals. I don't know. Not where I live. There won't be dangerous animals. Homeless guys that will probably kill you if you don't run away. They don't give a shit. They have nothing to lose anyway. And they see it as their territory, so they will probably attack you if they see you in a building where they live. There could be, you never know what could happen in there. There could be a serial killer dropping his bodies there, or something. I don't know. A lot of lunatics and psychopaths live in abandoned buildings. At least hang around them. Alright, I don't know what to say anymore.
The clip setting off what may very well be the darkest mystery to ever unfold on the site, and perhaps one of the most disturbing in the entire history of the internet.
Alright, let's hear it, man.
Before we fully get into things here, do you...
No free promotion, dog. Sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Started for free, probably the most unique.
Nope.
Crowley to
Alright.
get started for free and to get your money right.
The code doesn't even work anymore, probably, so...
Of all the cases I've covered in the world of internet oddities and mysteries, this one is probably the most unique, as the contents of this mystery involve videos that can barely be broadcast in any capacity, due to just how disturbing they are. And although I'm sure some of you will be disappointed that the videos themselves are not shown in their entirety, I can assure you that these clips are ones that you don't want to see.
Alright,
And on
thank
that
you.
note, let's
Thank you for not traumatizing me for life. I
go
appreciate
back
that.
to that old dirt road. The location was one of many examined by this explorer who goes under the name Beanbag Adventures on Douyin, the original...
Let's see, does he still make shit? Yeah. Why the fuck is my... What did it say? Right, that's it. Let's see if he still makes stuff. Well, I'm an idiot. I probably shouldn't be looking on YouTube if it's from TikTok. Back to the video, y'all.
Chinese version of TikTok.
Oh,
For the
okay.
sake of this video,
Fair.
his real name will not be disclosed as he's never made it publicly available. So I'll just be
Damn.
referring to him as X.
Bro out here looking like a character from what is the games again? The Corey always plays. The Japanese horror games, you know, with the cashier and all that. And what was the name? Oh, I forgot, but it's a game developers from Japan who make very good indie games, horror games. Very fun to play.
X's channel features a multitude of creepy locations left to the mercy of time and isolation. But of all the places he would go on to visit, he could tell immediately that this one was going to be different. As he
Yeah,
entered
why
the
go?
structure, he was greeted with an overwhelming stench that covered the building in its entirety. The mask he wore helped block out some of the...
This was what I meant with all the you know, poison and all that. You're gonna die eventually, right? You can't just wander around with a mask forever, right? I don't know how that works. I don't know. Probably. I mean, I don't know.
smell, but not nearly enough to make it a pleasant experience.
Yeah.
Noticing this, X immediately began to suspect that something was off as he roamed the halls of the lab using the smell as a marker, following it to uncover its source. This led him past the first floor and down into the structure's basement, which consisted of old
And it has a basement too. If I first off, it didn't smell good, right? It's a lab, second off, and it has a basement. And the doors are wide open for everyone to go in and out. I probably wouldn't go in, but that's just me, I guess.
Concrete rooms and tunnels, almost like some sort of fallout shelter. And as he passed by one room in particular, he knew he had found the source of the stench, as the smell coming from its opening was nearly unbearable. But having come all this way, he decided to push on and enter the room, turning on his camera just a few minutes later to reveal what exactly he had discovered.
来吧，兄弟们想看的，地下实验室，心理承受能力强的患有，随着镜头来。接下来大家所看到的一切物品。
As he enters the room, X shows a large pool-like structure lined with old pieces of wood, and as it comes into frame, he prefaces the discovery by saying that the contents within this pool are merely props from an old movie. He then proceeds to point the camera down inside, revealing thick green water, and floating within this water were what looked to be children, mere babies.
What? Huh? And this guy stayed. Bro, some people are just insane, man. Why would you see literal children who are dead in a pool, and you're just like, hey, I'm doing this for the viewers, not for myself. I gotta push forward. I need to finish this video. Like, who thinks that? Who? You have to be completely insane to keep going after you see that, right? Why?
And dozens of them decaying in the water.
Yeah,
X
well,
then begins to gag and runs out of the room, shutting off the camera right before getting sick.
Okay, he has. Okay, at least he has a brain. That's good.
Video is shocking, and as it made its way through the Douyin site, it was met with mixed reactions. Many took X's word to heart, believing his explanation that the children were simply abandoned props left over from some movie that must have been shot there, while others called it an outright hoax, believing that X's demeanor and the editing of the video came across as disingenuous, before
Yeah,
going on to
fair.
assume that the explorer had just set it up himself. But within this crowd were a select few who were more concerned. The bodies looked so real, and each one appeared to be in different stages of decomposition. And that smell, if they were simply made of plastic and rubber, then why was that smell so unbearable to the point that X had gotten physically sick from it? Following this line of thinking, if somehow this were to be real, then that begs the question, what were all these bodies doing in an abandoned laboratory? Given what seemed to be their level of
Oh, I think I understand. Maybe there were like test dummies or something. Maybe the children were used to test stuff, and when they died, they would just be thrown in that pool or something. It's possible. You never know.
composition, it was clear that they hadn't been there for more than a few months, yet this structure has been left abandoned for decades.
All
You
right,
can
that
tell as
just
much
makes it
by
even worse.
looking at
Oh,
the infrastructure.
I knew it. What did I say at the beginning of the video? It could be serial killer that dropping the bodies in there. Maybe this is exactly what's happening here.
Due to this video having been posted in 2022, this automatically rules out the idea that this was part of China's one-child policy, as that was abolished back in 2015. Plus, that policy wouldn't have matched anyway, as some of the children seen in that water were, well, just that, children. None of them were infants, and some were even comparable in size to those as old as 5 or 6, which seems to immediately rule out this explanation.
Fair.
Digging into the video a bit deeper, a few others began to notice what they believed to be an off-putting detail, as directly after X states that the bodies in the pool were simply props, he then goes on to say that this video was going to be censored, and that you'll only ever see this from him. This prompted the theory that the movie prop line was just some sort of cover-up to allow the footage to be shown across Douyin, so that he could expose the true horrors transpiring in this old lab. Admittedly, some of these details are a bit bizarre, but despite all of this, the theory that these bodies were somehow real was merely speculation, and far-fetched speculation to say the least, as most would go on to assume the footage to be fake, carrying on with their lives and forgetting all about this bizarre video. And it wasn't just the viewers who seemed to immediately forget about this footage, as X himself would continue posting as usual immediately after this, making no mention of his discovery in that laboratory.
That's weird.
And much like that laboratory, in the months that followed, X's video would soon be lost to time. Or at least this was the case, until December 26th, 2022, when X would once again follow that old dirt road and return to the strange room.
You should have just moved on. This is where where shit gonna happen. This is where he's gonna see shit, where he's gonna see stuff. All that, probably.
兄弟们，防空洞里面那个实验室，一池子小孩儿，一池子小孩儿。今天我又来看一看，拍上点视频。胆小的勿看啊，接下来注意细节。
This time, things within that tunnel were different. Upon entering, he would see strange bottles and tubes on the ground, which hadn't been there before, and as he approached the pool, he could now see children's clothing scattered all across the pathway, including a cap which would commonly be worn by a child. The pool itself was also slightly altered, as there was now a large blue tarp covering the majority of its surface, concealing its contents. However, at the far end was an opening, just large enough to reveal that those prop bodies from before were in fact still in there. Only this time, the idea of them being movie props was far less believable. It had been 10 long months since X had first peered into that pool, and now the bodies he once claimed to be from a movie set were far more decayed, to the point that not just the bodies were shown, but the bones within them as well.
Oh, hell no.
Skulls, ribs, hips were all on display.
That's horrible. So I think it is the serial killer hiding their bodies there. And because he saw the video, he tried to cover it for if anyone else comes over. Well, that makes no sense. Everyone already knows it's there. I don't know what he was thinking. Oh.
Revealed by the peeling of their rotten flesh, in a scene that looked all too realistic. So much so that X was now referring to them solely as dead bodies, as that level of detail would have been nearly impossible to fake. X then pulls out his phone and reveals the date and time, December 26th, 2022, 11:26 a.m., before turning to the exit and leaving in a hurry.
看下时间啊，2022年12月26，兄弟们，这个味儿啊，我居然能挺住，不知道说点什么。哎呀，这里还有这些药瓶子，拜拜了，又要走了。我去，这个臭啊！哎呀，拜拜拜拜拜拜，没得。
The second video was far different from the first, as its validity is much harder to argue against. I obviously won't be showing it here, but the bodies were just too realistic. I honestly don't think they could have been faked, as even across all the big budget movies I've ever seen, no dead body props have ever come close to this level of realism, which makes it seem all the more unlikely that someone could have faked this just for a TikTok. And that sentiment was shared across the site almost universally. Rather than being a source of speculation like that first video, people were now left simply horrified, having likely witnessed the sight of a dozen dead children. And this wasn't the only major difference between the two clips either, with the most relevant coming from the contents of the video themselves. For starters, those bottles, clothing, and that tarp were all not there upon his first visit, meaning that whatever this pool was being used for, it was still being actively visited and worked on after that first video was made. And worst of all, the number of bodies shown in that water was significantly higher the second time around, meaning that whatever he had walked in on was still clearly actively happening. Despite this disturbing detail, this didn't stop X from returning just a few days later, determined to reveal all of the horrors of that old lab. And upon this third visit, he would follow that tunnel even deeper, this time finding tubes with fetuses in them, skulls, and even a fully
Wait, hold on.
complete vertebrae piled on top hundreds.
I mean, bro, this has to be either a killer or just Albert Einstein gone wrong. Wow.
Of other bones. He'd even uncover multiple large bags filled to the brim with even more skeletal remains. And what made this all the more confusing was that all these bones were from what seemed to be fully grown humans, meaning that within this abandoned building...
I mean, don't get me wrong, but that's better than children. Like, they have longer to live.
Were bodies ranging from newborns to children all the way to adults. According to a few
Wow.
people across Reddit, X would make one more video in this laboratory, this time focusing a search on the upper levels of the building, revealing more bones seemingly belonging to children, as well as kids' toys and masks.
Jesus
实验
Christ.
室的化学用剂，这里还有不明的液体，这里还发现了小孩子的面具，小时候的回忆，一张面具，开心。这里还有一个皮箱，里边一只高跟鞋。这个应该是医院拍的片子，在走廊东侧发现了一个特别的格局，这个房间格局像不像是特别危险？医院的1楼、2楼、3楼
Dang,
通
bro,
通
one-
无业。
I personally couldn't
Dang, one wrong step on those stairs, bro, and you're fucked.
fully verify if this location was the same or not, but it does appear similar enough to at least mention here. With that being said, we were left with 3 to 4 short videos, and so many questions, the most overarching of all being what the hell was happening in this laboratory. This question prompted numerous theories, one of the earliest being that a serial killer had been using this location to dump the many bodies of his victims. This
I am so... Oh my god, man. I can... Damn! How did I know that? Bro, what? I'm crazy.
would kind of make sense, as up until X had visited the building, it was virtually untouched for decades, making it the perfect place to commit heinous crimes far away from the public eye.
Yeah.
But the main problem with this theory is the scale of it all. There were just too many bodies for it all to have been done by one person. Even a group of mass murderers would
Hey, it could be a cult. You see a lot of cults in abandoned places dropping shit and all that, you know? Or in the woods, obviously, but like, you know what I mean? It could be a cult.
have a hard time amassing so many victims. And given the fact that most of these bodies seem to belong to children, and the fact that they were disposed of in such a bizarre way, made many others begin to shift their beliefs towards other theories. With by far the most popular being that this location was being used as some sort of black market organ trade.
Oh.
This idea became a main focal point following the second video in particular, as many of the bodies shown had openings in their chest cavities, which
Alright. Stop, man. I need to sleep today, you know?
revealed that they all seemed to lack any internal organs, prompting the belief that the kids were killed for their organs, perhaps in a medical facility somewhere else, and their bodies were dumped in this location afterwards, assuming that they would never be found. And in the minds of many, this wasn't just being done by some random group, and instead they believed it was being carried out by their country's own government.
Okay. I get it, okay? The Chinese government is weird as shit, but would they really do all that for organs to sell on the black market? You don't think they have enough money already? That makes no sense.
China has no effective organ donation program. That's because culturally, Chinese people believe the body must stay intact even after death.
The organ trade in China is quite the rabbit hole, but to make things simple, China has one of the lowest percentages of organ donors out of any major country. But despite this, it's somehow known as one of the easiest places to get an organ transplant, especially
Wait, what? That's kind of weird though, yeah. Right. It might be true.
for wealthy individuals. People even travel there from other countries to get life-saving procedures, as transplants that could take years and years in the US can be done in China in the matter of weeks. As long as the
That's
money is
crazy.
right.
That's
Which begs
really
the
weird.
question, where do these organs come from? Well, in recent years,
Yeah, but like, oh wait, maybe that's why they did the one kid only rule, so that if you have two kids, they could use them as, you know, organ stuff. What they do with these kids in the lab that are dead. Maybe that's what they do. It could be true. Hey, you never know, man. I'm not going to China anytime soon, so I can say anything I fucking want. No hate to the Chinese people though. Love y'all.
China has been caught executing prisoners that were not sentenced to death simply in order to use their organs in this trade.
That's
all because
weird.
of the staggering amount of
Damn,
money that
man,
can be
that's
made
brutal.
per procedure. And though this practice works for
Wait, huh?
adults,
I don't understand. If they get sentenced to death, they die. But if you remove their organs, they're also gonna die eventually, right? I mean, you're just gonna let him walk around prison with one organ the entire time? That would be real. I mean, I don't know how it goes there, but it would be really weird.
There's one thing that these prisons don't have: children.
Yes,
So when a child
exactly.
gets a new organ,
That's true.
let's say one of a high-ranking official or a wealthy member of Chinese society, where do they turn? This idea has prompted the belief that China has been doing some shady things to obtain these organs, like perhaps kidnapping and killing innocent children, simply to use their organs and save other wealthy children in order to gain a massive profit. Now, I have to say that this is not a fully confirmed theory by any means,
Alright, that's
but it is
good.
a fairly common belief, even among members of China's own population. And because of this, X's 4 videos prompted outrage across social media, with many calling out the government for their involvement. And as soon as those
I mean,
figures
like,
started to...
you can't blame the government of China if you have no proof. Like, you're not gonna get anywhere with that. You can, like, accuse everything you want, but it's the government of China, for fuck's sake. They don't give a shit as long as you don't get in trouble. What are you gonna do about it? They have more power than anyone in China, despite from the president, obviously. But still, what are they gonna do? Accusing is not enough to stop them.
point, the case took a drastic turn.
Oh no, please.
On the morning of January 15th, the Beanbag Adventure channel would disappear from the Douyin site without explanation, which honestly comes as little surprise. X had shown his face all over these videos and was clearly not shy about exposing this lab, and with so many people now blaming the government, it was only a matter of time before he was silenced. In fact, X himself even foresaw this happening all the way back in that first clip.
视频的限制啊，大家心里懂啊。
Unsurprisingly, when X's account went dark, many immediately began to fear the worst, believing that he was not only silenced on social media, but silenced altogether, likely being thrown in a prison somewhere or just killed outright. Because of this, X was hailed as a hero for risking his life to show the world what was truly happening there, and most believed that this would be the last time we would ever hear from X again.
No way. This is the best plot twist I've ever heard. Come
But
on.
as it turns out, something much stranger would happen from here.
What?
Just a few days after its removal, the Beanbag Adventure account would re-emerge, this time with all 4 of these videos missing. And even more bizarrely, he just continued uploading videos from there, going to different locations and making that same content he once did before stumbling across that lab. Despite the massive virality of the story, not once has he ever acknowledged any of his previous...
Alright, so, he was told you either delete the videos or we delete you. I mean, I don't really think you have a choice in that, after that.
findings. And if you look at his page today, you would never know that just a few months before, he had the entire nation in an uproar.
Yeah.
The whole situation is incredibly off-putting, and who knows what happened to X during that time his account went down.
He
But
got
whatever it
threatened, for
was,
sure.
It clearly frightened him enough to never speak of this abandoned building again.
He definitely got threatened to delete the videos where he's gonna be deleted. Like, that's the most, like, that theory makes the most sense if you ask me. Like, why would he randomly just delete them out of nowhere if their videos are so popular? Why would you delete them? I mean, there's only one reason, right? We all thinking the same, right? I hope we do, because I'm not changing my opinion.
For many, this behavior confirmed their suspicion that the government was somehow involved in whatever the activity was happening within this structure.
Yeah,
While for
probably.
others, this confirmed that this was all somehow staged. As if it
What?
were real, the chances of X being alive right now would seem to be rather unlikely. Plus, within all his exposés of this lab, he never actually revealed where it was, causing doubt in the minds of a select few. But if I'm being honest,
Dog, why would he say where it is? Everyone's gonna go there. You think he doesn't know what's gonna happen if he does? Then he had no choice but to get killed, right? If the government actually had something to do with it. That would be horrible. That would be horrible for him and for China, obviously, too. Like, do you have a brain? You know, I understand why he didn't do it. He would have been killed for sure, right?
Just don't believe that those bodies could have possibly been faked. Though due to the nature of cases like this in China, a true answer has never and likely will never be fully revealed,
Yeah.
leaving us with nothing more than speculation and a mystery far darker than any we've ever delved into.
Yeah.
I'll be monitoring this case for the next few months to see if anything changes or is revealed, as due to the high level.
Alright, y'all. That was the video. Definitely subscribe to this guy. Like, he's the best storyteller I've ever seen on YouTube. By far. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. See y'all next time.